Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking.
You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.
Welcome to Creator-Based Life. We are all here. This is the weekly podcast for CMH Coaching, and we empower women of faith to create the lives they love, the lives they've always wanted. And of course, you know, I'm here with Jacine, who flew solo last week. She's a business coach, a mom, a grandma, and an avid runner. And Jen DeRoos, who is also a coach, a hypnotherapist, and a can grow anything gardener. And this is her season coming on, y'all. There's lots of gardening going on. And I'm Beth, a master life coach, an author, and the creator of the Creator-Based Life. Create your one awesome, amazing, incredible, perfect life. 50-50, of course, right, y'all? 50-50. You guys all know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, Jen, I love your mug. Wait, hold it up.
Isn't it cute? This is like my favorite mug.
It's the fox. She's so foxy. Oh my gosh.
And right inside, you see the word?
What's it say?
When it says cup of cozy.
Oh,
so it's like,
nice.
I need this today.
Yes, I just have my regular, but yeah, so good. So we're talking today about grit and grace, because that's what we're talking about all month long, and the special ingredients, guts, which I just love. As a mom of 6 boys, guts is one of my favorite kind of words. It's one of those power words. It just reminds me of snakes and snails and puppy dog tails, you know, but it's something that's really important when we're working with grit and grace, right? And Jacine is the gutsiest lady I know, just saying, knowing her background and her story. And Jen, not too far behind. I mean, she's got some serious gutsy stuff in her life too. Let's just talk a couple of minutes about how that affects your grit. How does that help you keep going? What do you guys think? Grit and grace and guts.
You just got to put your head down sometimes and just do it. You know, there's just sometimes that, and I guess that is grit. That's part of grit. Yeah. Having the guts to do it. And
yeah.
And
I think
that's jumping off the high dive too.
Yeah. Guts for me is taking a chance. Taking a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Taking a chance on being wrong or being embarrassed.
Or doing something hard.
Yeah. Losing something hard. There's a lot involved in having the guts to do something like that. I agree.
Yeah.
Part of what gives me guts is, now that I'm past the age of 20, is having perspective. I find that the farther I am away from 20 or 21, my real age, that the gutsier I get. And like the more often I use the phrase, I don't care. Right? There's right. Just something about that perspective, about having some life behind you. And it just makes all the difference for me. Do you guys notice the same thing? Being ever so many more than 20?
Yeah, a few times more than 20.
Well, and you think about that perspective. And it really came to me one morning when we were in the garden. I was in the garden. We were on the phone together, the 3 of us. And I was sitting out in the garden, and it was a beautiful, beautiful morning. The sun was barely coming up. It was before daylight savings. So we were doing that. And the sky was pink, and the birds were singing, and the chickens were in the yard. And I was sitting with my apple tree full of the birds. I always wanted an apple tree when I was growing up. I just always did. And sitting and looking out over the 10 acres of land that actually belonged to me. The acreage the house is on are still mortgaged. They still have a mortgage, but the 10 acres that I see when I sit are mine, free and clear. And so I'm looking out at all of that, and the thought came up, would my 20-year-old self even believe this was a possibility? And she wouldn't. I mean, she was so mired in, I was expecting my second morning sick when I was 20. It was just so mired in buying our first home, trying to get it all together. She just didn't have any kind of perspective. And so she just couldn't know. But sitting there looking back, I was thinking, and this is what I want to hear from you guys. What would I have said to my 20-year-old self now, as ever so many more than 20, that could have helped her? And my first thought was, oh, if only she had the creator-based way. If she had the creator-based way and she had the knowledge that she was the creator of her own experience, that she had the power to make those changes. I think I just kind of barely knew that I could touch in with my creator and get answers. But those things, if she had known that we are different by design and that change is a gift and that 50-50 is what life is made out of, all of those things would have really changed, you know? But so thinking about it, what would you have told your 20-year-old something? And then I want to take a step forward. What would your 80 or 90-year-old self have to say to you now?
Yeah.
So I love the idea of my 90-year-old self looking back. I have some friends that are 90 or in their late 80s, and I watch them in the community and think, yeah, I want to grow up and be like that, you know? So what about y'all? What do you think? What would you look back and say to your 20? And where were you too? Tell us that. Where were you when you were 20? Well, where were you in your life? Yeah, I know. That's what it made me. Yeah. But where were you?
20 was a really hard year for me because that was the year of my car accident. So I was trying to stay alive when I was 20 and heal and mend. And so I would almost say that my 20-year-old self probably was like, well, if looking back now, probably just a lot in my 20s and 30s. I just thought once I turned 50, I might as well just pull up the rock around the, because life's over.
Oh my gosh,
old.
30 was old, but anything past 30, you couldn't even fathom.
50 was old, your life was over, blah, blah, blah. Now that I'm 54 and I'm just like going, I wish I could have told my 20-year-old self that it only gets better, Yeah. So I'm thinking of my 90-year-old self. What would my 90-year-old self say to my 50-year-old self? Probably about maybe the same thing. It's only going to get better, just in a different way.
Yeah. And you need to give up the old thoughts that 90 is ever so old, just like you gave up the thoughts that 40 or 50 were so old, right?
Yeah. I had to really work on some beliefs when I, in my 50s because of how I view things about my life was over and done with. And if I had not already done it before now, it wasn't going to happen. But I've had so many women show me that, oh my gosh, no, you can recreate yourself whenever you want. And you still have a good 20, 30 years left in your life. Why are you pulling it up on the porch?
Right. Why would you want to spend it in front of Netflix?
I mean, it's like, and I think about it, we're, 20 years ago today. Oh my gosh. I have 20 years. So look what I can get done in 20 years, so it's even 10 years ago today compared to what I can get done in 10 years. So it's been a good shift for me, but
it's remarkable.
Yeah, my 20-year-old self was a mess.
Well, she was fighting for her life.
She was.
Yeah.
Consider that. Yeah. And she did a really, really good
She did
job
an
with what she
amazing
does.
job. She
So
did an amazing
brave
job.
and so strong and so powerful. Yeah. Yeah. And she deserves that praise.
She
Yeah.
does. She does.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
you, Jacine? What was your 20-year-old self like?
So at 20, I had my first son. I had been married. I wasn't going to have kids for 5 years.
I
So,
wasn't have kids at
uh,
all.
yeah, well, that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, ended up getting pregnant even though I was on birth control and was very
Somebody
sad,
wanted to show up.
crying. Oh, this is
Oh,
terrible.
that's
Right.
right.
And um, but it's interesting. I think what I would love to tell my 20-year-old self now, looking back, is teach her about the 50-50. Because in Jacine's world, it was all about happily ever after.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, that you got
Yeah.
married, Prince Charming, you had your babies, and you lived
Yes.
happily ever after. And
Yeah.
the first time something went wrong, we were defenseless. I'm like, I don't even know what to do here. I'm like,
Right.
yeah,
Right. I'm so glad that's
Because
not
it
the
wasn't supposed to
norm.
go wrong. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
that
Right.
was
I'm
the
doing
thing.
everything right. So why is this going wrong?
yeah.
And
And somebody needs to tell you that's according to plan. That's the way it's supposed to go. Yeah.
yeah, and look what you're learning in this. And yeah, it's been quite the journey to learn that. And that's what I really appreciate about the creator-based way, because when I first heard you say that, Beth, it was like,
That's right. None of
like,
that.
stop,
Don't
no,
you try and
no, no, no,
Pollyanna me
no,
into saying this is good, because this is not good. That's right.
terrible. Like, what do you mean? This is normal. No, no, I'm fighting against that. Um, So, yeah, I love the fact that life is, 50-50.
Yeah.
And we have to have it. We have to have that balance in order to learn and grow. I think about running. I think about when I was weightlifting, anything that I wanted to grow in, I had to face resistance.
Yes, that's what makes you strong.
Yeah, and I love Jen, I think it was you that was saying that, like with a baby, they fall down and in order to get strengthened, they have to get back up. It's the getting back up that causes them to be so strong and
Yeah.
to build those muscles. And I love that thought process that, gosh, if we never fell down, we wouldn't have those muscles, that strength, that grit, and the grace that we need to have when
Yeah.
we move forward, whatever age we are, right? Just looking at that differently is so cool. And I wish I could have told her that back
Seriously.
then.
Yeah.
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 Would have saved a lot of drama if
Mhm.
she had been able to learn
Mhm.
to meet the
So,
bottom 50 with gratitude.
yeah, a lot of things I wish she would have known. Like, it's okay to make mistakes. That's how you're going to learn. Nobody's perfect, that type of thing. The 50-50, like they're going to have good days, they're going to have bad days, and you can be okay with both. I drank some Kool-Aid at some point that said that life had to be happily ever after, or it was
Like a
not.
magazine ad.
Perfect.
If
And
it wasn't glossy like the magazine, it was
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I really spent a lot of my days very, very discouraged and very, like something's wrong with me or something's wrong with my life when really nothing was.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, wish I
Yeah.
could have imparted that to her then.
I spent a lot of my time trying to control everything, like have absolute control over
Yeah.
everything, because of course I know what's best. So if I can
Well,
control it, yeah, oh
right.
my
Then we'd
gosh.
be safe. We'd be able to have it turn out just the way we
Yes.
wanted it
And
to
it will
be.
be happily ever after, right? Yeah.
And that's a recipe for real discomfort. Yeah. Real unhappiness.
Yeah.
Okay. 90-year-old Beth would probably tell 60-year-old Beth, remember that different is good.
Mm.
Yeah. I know 60-year-old Beth would love 40-year-old Beth to know that.
Yeah.
That was when it was just beginning to emerge, somewhere after 35, that I realized I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be who I am supposed to be and do specifically what I'm here for. What are you thinking, Jen?
You remember that that poem, When I'm Old, I'll Wear Purple.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
some of
Yes.
it I can relate with, some of it I can't, but it was just the whole feeling of like, when I get old, I'm just gonna do whatever what feels good for me.
Right.
I think that was like kind of being more in touch with the authentic, the authentic you, like,
Yeah, like it would be safe when you're old to be your authentic self.
yeah, why can't it be then? Like,
It is safe now to be your
it is
authentic
safe now.
self.
Like, I'll wear whatever I want to wear, whatever colors, or whatever, or do whatever I do. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's such a, but I can remember, like, when did that come out? Like in the 90s? When did
Yeah,
that?
in the 90s,
like
because
that,
I remember how popular it was, because it rang true with all of us in our 20s, 30s, 40s who were yearning to feel like we were okay.
Yeah.
I have to feel okay now because when I'm old, I'll feel okay.
Yeah.
But we could feel great right now just
Yeah.
by being authentically us.
You don't have to be old to wear purple. You can just.
No, I love wearing purple. It's one of my favorites. It is good. It is good and different by design. I love that. One of the things that we're doing that we're just kicking off is this new quiz to show our differences, different by design. It's are you living in alignment with your creator power? Because we all have some specific creator powers and in the creator-based way. Did you guys take the quiz?
I did.
Okay, I want to hear what you thought and who you came out as.
Well, when I was taking it, I was like, "Ooh, I want to be this one. I want to look at it this way."
When I am old, I will wear purple.
But I don't. I don't look at it that way. I would love to be I would love to be the creator that lives in the moment all the time and all. But I'm not. I'm not. I am the, what is it? The change creator. What is it? What was
Catalyst.
it? The catalyst.
Catalyst.
Yeah. Change. And so, and I'm like, that's me. That's me. That's me. That's me.
Catalyst. Have you ever seen the baking soda vinegar?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where you
catalytic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you the vinegar? Are you the baking soda? Or does it depend on the day?
I think I'm both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The change catalyst. Yeah. I love that. I brought up, let me read you about the change catalyst. I love this. It says the change catalyst, you construct your life with intention and purpose. That sounds like Jen, right? You see the blueprint of the ideas and possibilities around you and can easily understand and order the steps in a project. Oh, this is wrong. This is, no, I'm giving you the wrong one. This is
I was going to say, wait a minute. Yeah. Wait a minute.
No. All right, here.
Kind of push to change or whatever. I have to have an opportunity.
No, change catalyst isn't on this piece of paper. Inspirational architect is in twice, but this is this is what I remember about the change catalyst. I'll just tell you that the change catalyst, it's just so I won't read it. There you go. The change catalyst is a transformer. They're always looking for what is going to make the situation better, whether it's better for their husband or better for their family or better for their work or better for themselves. That change catalyst is always looking for what's going to help, what's going to make it better. And that way they study and they do the transformation for the people they love and for the world around them. And that ripple effect goes out and they're the changers, the movers and the changers in the world. But what's interesting about the change catalyst is they quite often will look for the next best thing and they'll get derailed because they love seeing the next best thing. And so they love this idea of transformation and they get all excited about the transformation and it might actually derail them from ever making the transformation. Yeah. So that's kind of the negative side. But the positive side is that ripple effect and the light that that they bring in their transformation. They're the deep thinkers. They're the questioners. How can we do this differently? Mm-hmm.
Getting curious about things. I think in the questions, one of the themes that I saw, which is like, yeah, this is me. And tell me if I'm correct on if it's the catalyst part, was whenever there's a conflict or whenever there's a challenge, I look for the lesson behind it.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, that's telling me, like, I don't ever go through anything without saying, okay, what can we learn from this?
That's right. What can we learn from this? Yes. Yeah. What, for me, it's always, what's the why? I need the purpose. The purpose stops to be, the quote with the suffering ceases to be suffering when you understand the purpose. That's what for me, I'm always looking for purpose. Well, we love our change catalysts. We love them because they're the ones that are always helping us to aspire. They're also the ones that are soft and squishy and so sweet and nice to us.
Really? When we talk to that. Really? You are?
Yes. Yes, you are, Jen. You are. I've been through enough of your sessions to know how much sweet gushiness there is in there, how much love there is in there.
No, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm coming at you heavy-handed. I don't know.
No,
Yeah.
no, always in a very kind, very, very loving kind of way.
Thank you.
They act from love. Change catalyst. So how about you, Jacine? You took the quiz?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm the inspirational architect, which makes
And that's what I was trying to read to as the, yeah. I love that. What do you recognize about the inspirational architect in yourself?
It's interesting. Just again, control, right?
I think inspirational architect, I think framework. I don't think control. I think framework. Give me a system.
And then just in feeling inspired and inspiring others to work within this framework, right? Within this plan. I am all about plan with a purpose all the time. Yep.
Yeah. And that's an inspirational architect. That's your creator power. And the flip side that can get you is patience and judgment. Right? If you would just stay in the framework, it would have worked. If you would just do it this way, could you just do it this way so that it will get done?
Why?
Yeah. Why? Exactly. Yeah. That's it. And any guesses? I took the quiz. Any guesses? It's not your types, which I love that we're all.
I love that we're all different. I knew we all would be. We all would be.
Yeah, we're all different.
Well, you're a creative creator.
You're the number one. Whenever I would read the questions, I'm like, I think that number one is Beth.
Yes, the creative visionary.
Yes.
The creative visionary.
Yeah.
Who just sees everything as an opportunity. It's
Yeah.
all an idea and it's all an opportunity and it's all light and uplifting and so cool. But then you get the drawback because you might have 15 different projects going there. And what you really need is an architect and a catalyst. Done. Yeah, it's really cool. The only one that's left on the quiz is a mindful creator. And when I think of a mindful creator, I think of my sister Sue.
Oh, yes.
And you guys have met Sue and worked with her in her yoga. And one of Sue's gifts is you don't even have to talk to her to feel the peace that she exudes because she is full presence and she is very just filled with peace. And that's mindful creators tend to be a little bit more subdued, a little quieter. And sometimes they may come off as a little bit standoffish, but they're not. It's just that they're solid in themselves. They knew who they are. Yeah. And so their negative side is they might get lonesome because people look at them as their own individual island, or they may have a hard time making those close connections. But we need mindful creators too, a lot. They bring us the peace, that otherwise I'll go off and explode somewhere, Yeah. Need that. I need that. But the quiz is out there. So I put it up on all of our social media and it's up on the 50/50 page. So if you haven't taken the test yet, you should take the test and find out. But we have just like 5 minutes left. Let's just do a real quick of how do you stay in your creator power? Like for me, I can get really discouraged. And if I start my inner critic going, it just turns off all of my ideas and brings me down. And there's nothing worse for me. It's like I have no energy. Everything's down. And so I just get heavy. But for me to stay in my creator power is to stay connected with my creator and to stay in service. That really helps me keep things up and not to listen to that inner critic, just to love the inner critic and say, oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you for trying to help. Thank you for trying to protect. But I got this and you're good. Yeah. What about you? What do you guys do to stay in your power as a catalyst or an architect?
I really like to go to the thing that resonates with me is the empowerment dynamic, the TED, the
framework, right?
The framework. Yes. Yeah. So here's the plan. Do I find myself as a victim, as a persecutor, or as a rescuer? Yeah. And I vacillate a lot between victim and rescuer, mostly rescuer, because the framework, do as I say, right? I can figure it out.
Yeah,
for
it's the
everybody.
framework.
Yeah.
Yeah, and frameworks, they work with you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I find that as soon as I recognize that, I can stop and I can reframe, right? I can stop and say, okay, hold on a second. How can I coach instead of rescuing, right? How can I be a coach? Or how can I be a creator instead of a victim here? You know, how can I flip that? But it's recognizing where I'm at that very moment and saying, whoa, don't really want to be here. So how can I move out?
Yeah.
You know, and of course, there's different tools. It's visualization. It's
there's lots of tools. We
changing
teach
your thoughts. Yeah, tapping. I mean, there's all kinds of different tools to move from that into that creator, the triple C, as I call it, the creator,
I
the
love
coach.
the triple C.
Yeah.
Another framework for us to work in.
Yeah,
It's just so you. It's great.
it's so
Yeah.
me.
It's perfect. What do you think, Jen? What works for you?
Well, I think also kind of knowing, and I don't know, this is just me and my thoughts with this as I was thinking about this today after taking the quiz, is understanding like your rhythm of your creation. Because being the type that I find, apparently catalyst, like there has to be conflict, or there has to be something that needs to be, and
move you
so
along.
not to be looking for that all the time, but not getting my energy from it. And so I find myself in places of down or like rest,
Mhm.
and realizing no, life is good right now. So what do we do with that? And
Yeah, we celebrate, really honor it, right?
yeah, and
Take
it's
your time
okay,
with it.
because it's almost like a wave. It's going to come back around where something's going to be where you're going to have to like, catalyst into something else, or like,
Like
move
a
into
teeter
something.
totter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've been kind of thinking about it today, going, do I create things that I have to fix because of this everything? I'm really trying to like,
Or do you simply see them because you're a questioner, right? You're curious.
yeah.
So maybe in your ability to see things, you're more aware of what might need to be fixed.
And I have said sometimes, and I know I've said it here, like sometimes I'm just so over myself. I'm so done with myself, so I'm all like, maybe
But that's your gift.
Maybe what this is about. It's like, maybe you need to kind of like not always look for that. So I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out. This is good thing.
Live with a little while and let us know, because I would be willing to think that maybe you need to embrace it. And if you're embracing it, that it will mellow and be a little bit different. You'll see it differently if you start seeing it as a gift. So
that's true.
I'll
have to think about that too.
Something to ponder on.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have good things coming for the rest of the week. Tomorrow we have Coach and Clear. And I would suggest everybody get out there and take the quiz, and we can talk about it some more on Coach and Clear. And if there are things you have questions or things that you want to work on pertaining to it, that will be really helpful. And then I want to know about book club.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys reading Jody Moore?
No, we finished. Yeah, we finished that, and we're going to take this week off because people are on spring break.
Oh, yeah, we had spring break up here last week. Yeah, so that works.
So we're taking this week off, and starting in April, we're going to read something called The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. And so it's more of a story, but it actually has there's so much coaching that can happen within this.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, it's about somebody back in the 1800s that she was murdered. And so she still is kind of living in present day. And then you fast forward to another person who is making these discoveries about this person who,
it's a mystery.
Yeah, it's a mystery, but there's so much family in it that, family problems that are happening in it. And there's just so much that we can talk about, using our coaching.
I want to read it. Yeah.
Well, so we're kind of excited about that. So
Mm.
we'll start that in April. It's a longer book, so it will.
April the 2nd. And so maybe April and May both.
I think we'll get through it in April because those books are easier to read when they're stories.
Yeah. They
But
catch
so
the attention as
information,
you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
information
Yeah.
heavy. So yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. And then we have office hours for those who are in coach training on Thursday. And we have another round of coach training that will be starting in June. So
Mhm.
if you have an interest in coaching and want to know more, just shoot me an email. It's right there on the website. And we'll be starting coach training again in June. And then on the 11th, which is really only a couple of weeks away, before the next Jumpstart, interestingly enough, we have the kickoff meeting for the Anxiety Masterclass. And Jacine, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's because I love TED. We're going to be talking a little bit about TED for that that kickoff course. And it just promises to be something that can help you unleash your inner peace, right? Think about that. Instead of focusing on anxiety, we're going to focus on unleashing the peace. And as we unleash that peace, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
Impossible, right? When we're in that state of anxiety to actually, we can press forward and it's really hard. But if we can find peace within that same circle, oh my gosh, sky's the limit, right?
Magical. Yeah, really big. And so we named it Anxiety Masterclass, but probably we should have called it the Peace Masterclass. But it's utilizing the power of peace to come back to create the life you love and the life that you want to have. And it is a very powerful thing. So that's going to be on the 11th. They were doing it twice that day, once at 11 in the morning, for those of you who, might have kids in school or have that time open, and then once at 7 at night. So it'll both of those times on the 11th. And you can sign up on Eventbrite and just do an online class. Look for an online class called Anxiety Masterclass, and we'll pop right up. It's good. And then just 2 days after the Anxiety Masterclass, we're going to do our next Jumpstart. Jen, you want to talk to us about the next Jumpstart? It's a little bit later in the month, this month.
Yeah, it's going to just be about essential oils and emotions. We're just going to teach you about how essential oils can help you regulate your emotions, create positive ones, help you get out of, heightened states, those type of things. Right.
Yeah. It's going to be really cool. I use them every day to start my days. My oils are right there with my makeup. Put the mascara on, do my oils, Yeah, every day. It is beautiful. Well, it's good to be back. It's good to visit. And good to see our 50/50 girls. We missed y'all. We will see you again next week. Bye, y'all.
I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Hey, thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on Linktree/CMH Coaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Moment by moment, it's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring